Wake up and live your. Wake up and live. Wake up and live now. Wake up and live. Life is one big road with lots of signs. So when you're riding through the ruts, don't you complicate your mind. Flee from hate, mischief and jealousy. Don't bury your thought, put your vision to reality. Yeah. All together now, wake up and live. Wake up and live. Wake up and live. Yeah. Wake up and live. Rise, ye mighty people. Yeah. There's work to be done, so let's do it a little by little. Rise from your sleepless slumber. Yes, 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 yes. We're more than sand and the seashore. We're more than numbers. All together now. Wake up and live. Yeah. Wake up and live now. You see one cocoa full of basket. Already you see live big today. Tomorrow you're buried in a casket. One cocoa full of basket. Yeah, yes. Already you see live big today. Tomorrow you're buried in a casket. Walk together now. Wake up and live. Yeah. Wake up and live. Keep on playing. Yeah, yeah. Break it down.
Share the Lord, share the Lord.
Come on now. How's it feeling over there? Yeah, 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 yeah. Come on now. You gotta wake up and live. Life is one big road with lots of signs. Yes. So when you're riding through the ruts, don't you complicate your mind. Flee from hate, mischief and jealousy. Don't bury your dog, put your dream to reality. Yeah. All together now. Wake up and live. Yeah.
Yes, man, wake up and live. I'm DJ Mauricio coming to you live and direct from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts. Today is Tuesday, June 27th. Yes, it's not a Wednesday evening. I decided to drop a quick thing here this evening before I head out to the Newton Ground area, down at the Body Slam bar and pool room there where DJ Marish will be jamming some dominoes this evening. Tomorrow evening, we will be over at the Canary cricket field, jamming some cricket there with the Police Sports Club, and Thursday at Canary with the Masters, the St. Kitts Cricket Association Masters team. So the fact that I would not be able to come live in my usual way tomorrow evening, I decided, since all of the folks meeting me on the street want to know when am I going live, what's going on, I'm in the Federation, boom, bam, bam, bam. I said, okay, I'll drop a little hour on you this evening just for my boy, Ivor Henry over there in the Florida area, and he might be feeling down when I'm not coming live. So got to big up my boy, Ivor, the man Eustace Hendrickson and crew. Want to take the time out to big up my son here, Jeffrey Jr., who is hanging with the team at the moment. Thanks for joining us, sir. Also big up Sister Gwyneth Marisha, Sister Ann Farrell Smith, Sister Cora Bennett, Tracy Jeffers, Beverly and crew over there doing their thing, Sister Kia, Ma, Ralph, Brother Carl Morris in St. Thomas, Sister Val Morris, how you doing? The man Avon Brown, Patsy Brown. And I'm just going to drop a few tracks and get right into the chit chat, as we don't have much time with you this evening. I have to be out of here by 7 p.m. to run on over there to the Body Slam bar and pool room. But I'll give a quick rundown in a bit of what's happening here so far, what we have been doing. It's been fun. The folks are enjoying themselves. We'll have a quick chit chat about the music festival. Congratulate the Minister, Honorable Marsha Henderson, and her team for pulling off the music festival. Not one of my favorite activities at the moment, but nevertheless, it's one of the best activities, I think, in terms of bringing people together and for the economic boom that the Federation really need at the moment. So I'm going to drop this one here. This one is called Who the Cap Fit. So let's stand by and take a listen.
Man to man is so unjust. Children, you don't know who to trust. Your worst enemy could be your best friend, and your best friend, your worst enemy. Some will eat and drink with you, then behind them sus upon you. Only your friend know your secrets, so only he could reveal it. And who the cap fit, let them wear it. Who the cap fit, let them wear it. Said I throw me con, me no call no foul. I say in cup, clap, clap, clap. Eh. Some will hate you, pretend they love you now. Then behind they try to eliminate you. But who jobless? No one curse. Thank God we're past the worst. Hypocrites and parasites will go Ajanga carnival. Ajanga cup cup cup. Yeah, yeah. Clap clap clap.
Share the live, share the live.
Some will eat and drink with you. Then behind them sus upon you, yeah. And if night should turn to day now,
Enough of them.
a lot of people would run away.
For sure.
And let them wear it. Ooh, the cap fit. Let them wear it. Throw me gun. Me no call no foul. I'm begging cup, cup, cup. Clap, clap, clap. I'm a cup, cup, cup. Clap, clap, clap.
Yeah, man, I'm not sure me call me in a carnival. Let me start off on the right track here. I want to big up my boy there, Brother Powell, there at Island Purified Water. I want to thank him for his usual contribution to DJ Marisha, keeping my family and I hydrated while I'm here in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. He never leave us out. Always make sure that he take care of us. That's Island Purified Water there in the Newton Ground area. Always make sure he take care of DJ Marisha and keep him hydrated while he's here. So, Brother Powell, it was nice rapping with you. Continue to do your work for the community. And remember, my people, you know my lingo and my slogan. You continue to support businesses that support you. So, Brother Powell there has been supporting community affairs over the years. He has been in business, so continue to support Brother Powell, the man scatter, as we know him to be, the 10-speed rider and things like that. Well, folks, you know, prior to coming down to the Federation, you know, we had a whole masses of criminal activities taking place. There was some shooting, there was a few deaths. And if you follow the media and the people out there spreading the false propaganda, they even send out fake travel restrictions and that kind of stuff to mess up the island. But I can tell you, since I have been here, you have to be in the Federation to see for yourself. It's nothing like what you're hearing out there. Nothing like seeing for yourself. The place was rampant with people. St. Kitts Nevis was loaded with people over the last couple of days, right? And the people that out there crying out say things bad, they don't have any money. I don't believe in that at all, at all, at all. I see some kind of bottom on the road over the last couple of days. When I say bottom on the road, not bare bottom, you know. Bottom dressed up in fancy things, fancy skirt, fancy shirt, pum-pum shorts, all kind of model. St. Kitts women, St. Kitts Nevis women are special people. They are special built. They are gift from God. I don't know, some of them boys out there could be playing with the other things when they got them nice things to play with. But I see some lovely ladies in the Federation over the last couple of days. Those locally giving the foreigners, those who live in the diaspora, getting competition from the locals. When it comes to dressing and the eyelash and the makeup and the clothes and the designer, then people coming in can't give these people a competition. The locals have it on. Even Sister Sensei and all of them, the Triple S, man, they're out there in the thing. Sister General Stacey Mason, man, them girls sharp up. You know, they're giving the foreigners trouble with the dressing. Don't talk about the ministers of government. I see, man, I see the Prime Minister, my sister there, Sister Marsha Henderson, put down she foot on me there Saturday and decided, I don't know what stupidness you're talking about. You're not coming to music festival. She said, make sure you see your face in the place. I'm not accepting anything other than your face in the place. So you know what? Being the obedient guy that DJ Marisha is, and I have always been taking advice from her prior to her portfolio now. So why don't I continue taking advice from her? So I did took the time out with the encouragement of Gwyneth and my son, went there to the music festival on Saturday evening. Very much so against my wishes. I was led there, but the night was good. It was a good night, you know. Got to hear a couple of tunes from the awesome sound there. Air Supply, man, there was rocking. You would think you're listening to a recording of those guys' performances. And the man Gramps Morgan put down a performance as well, and his two sons. But like anything else, Marisha ain't as young as he used to be, and you know, he cannot take on them kind of things there right now in his full fledged and tired from working with the team since I've been here. I just hung with my boy Dwyer for a bit. It was good seeing Dwyer and Adrian Lam and a couple of guys there. It was good seeing the Prime Minister as well. Had a quick handshake. And before Marsha could come to convince me that I'm going to stay until 6 o'clock in the morning, I just slip out of there and leave my son with her. You see, them there's a young boy, they can represent me. She cannot say she didn't see me. And what was good about the whole situation, when Marsha and I saw each other, she was being interviewed. So I couldn't wave at her and she couldn't wave at me. But she knew I was there and I know she saw me. So there's no argument in that. So I was able to slip out of there before she see me and convince me to stay the night. And trust me, the next morning I had a job to do. When I left there Saturday night, my mission was to get down to Newton Ground on Sunday. And these guys, Garpy and Carl and Yellow Man, and these guys, every time we come to St. Kitts, them guys pull a fast one on me. They beat up on us down there at the Breeze Park, but I pull one on them. They don't realize I have some guns here in St. Paul's that represent DJ Marisha Sports Club. So when we got down there early, thanks to the man, brother James Ward, he's doing a good job with the youth here in St. Paul's at the St. Paul's Primary. Teacher Ward is doing a very good job. So I want to thank him for his cooperation, and we're going to continue to work together to bring these kids to the highest level of cricket that we can. So man, I put my team together with a mix of the older guys. You know, we had guys like Austin Williams, the former commissioner, who has been a part of the DJ Marisha Sports Club for some years, my vice captain and Sunday. Pick up some good wickets. Then I had my boy Leroy there, leader, aka Cardi, another serious spin bowler. When he take that ball, ain't much you can do with it when you rest it on the wicket, man. Those guys perform well. And a great deal of work went into the cricket. So let me just see if I can find the team name here, because I want to give kudos to the entire team. St. Paul's massive. You know, we have something good, and we need to just maintain it when it comes to the cricketing arena, you know. So I got to look in my other phone here, because it look like that one is missing in action. Got to find my team that I put on the field here and mash up them guys on Sunday. Okay, yes, this is my team here. Austin Williams was there alongside DJ Marisha. We had Leroy Leader, Kevin Isdale, fast bowler, left arm, very good bowler. Javel Ward, spinner. We had also Lashawn Bergen, spinner as well. Kasim Challenger, pace bowler, good job, guy. Irette Richards, good job as well. Zachary Alford. Well, I think this is Mishak's son, and that guy, he can bowl a ball as well. Clevante Powell, great bowler, and Jaheim Clark. That guy can pick up some speed there. So we had a very good team, a 12-man team there, and we did a very good job there at the Breeze Park on Sunday. Well, Carl and I always have a little thing going, you know. the sun was so hot. So, you know, I tried to get my team to bat first that the sun could go down. But Carl had the same plan. So I said, Carl, this is what we're going to do. We're going to work something out. I'm going to spin the toss. If you win the toss, we're playing 15 overs. If I win the toss, we're playing 20. He said, okay. Well, you know, Carl win the toss, you know. Pull a fast one on me. We win the toss. He said, boy, Marisha, you know, I'm going to see what the guys them going to say, whether we're going to bat a field first. But I know nobody going to go there in a hot sun, so. Carl went out there, tell me he going to bat first. I said, well, if you're going to bat first, and we're playing 15 now, but they say, no, the team say we're playing 20. I say, all right, I want to put DJ Marisha at the disadvantage, no problem. But what they didn't realize is the pepper that Marisha had lined up for them from the St. Paul school. When we let loose on them, you know, even teacher would ask me to ease up and deal with him. He said, take off some of the pressure, you know, take off some of the pressure, let the guys make a few runs. Because if we keep the pressure on, they couldn't make 50 runs against us. So, you know, we went on and do we thing, ease up on the bowling, take off some of the strike bowlers, and they ended up making 93 runs off 20 overs. 93. Boy, these young guns from St. Paul say, Marisha, what you want to do? You want to bat or you want us to bat? I said, no, man, you guys bat. He said, but only 2 men gonna knock off the runs in no time, you know. That ain't no runs for us. I said, man, do your thing, take care of them. Well, we had 2 young guns from St. Paul's, you know, that went in the wicket. And those guys, in 6 overs, the runs was knocked off in style with 14 overs to spare. So for all you folks out there, whether in St. Kitts or the diaspora, that thing come 2024, you are going to show off on DJ Marisha. When I put this team on you all, you know, it's going to be problems. And it's not just cricketers from St. Kitts I have, you know. We got some cricketers in Nevis. My boy there, Ron Daniel, Pastor Ron Daniel, is working with some young kids over there as well, which I intend to incorporate. And we're going to take them out here to North America, take them around the region, expose them, and hopefully they can make a footing and get somewhere, because West Indies need help. With the knockout that I see West Indies getting right now, if I had my team that played on Sunday in Newton Ground, playing the team that West Indies lose to, we couldn't lose against them. You know, them boys are ready. They want to change the entire West Indies camp from the president down. Them guys not ready. They need DJ Marisha to take care of business. Eh? Let me hail up some of my folks here, my usual online colleagues here. I want to say good evening to Celine Tobias. How are you doing, sister? Everything good with you? Are you on the door? Delicious Nicholas, how are you doing? Lucretia Dyer, Loretta Queely Clark, how are you doing? Clark Queely. How about Patrina Ballot? Sister Abigail Archibald, how are you doing? Tamika Salid. Dan Field Mead, how are you doing? Simona Cinder. Gigi Williams. J.T. Taylor. Dave Livingston, how are you doing? Livingston, how are you doing, sir? Bless. Kirvin Wilkin. Yashan Tafari. Ivor Henry Marlene Cross. How about the man Jeff Pemberton? Sister Janice, Honorable Janice, Daniel Hodge, how are you doing? How about Sister J.D. Keynes? My girl, the Patricia Bartlett, how are you doing? The man Ron Isles. Want to big up my boy, the Tulu, Brother Daly, and the man Carl Powell, hope all is well. Gemini Nisbet, Eleanor Douglas, sorry. Anthony Edwards, Loretta Wharton, how are you doing? Ruby Walters, Jeffords, and Mary Nisbet, Marlene Pemberton, Valina Ali, how are you doing? Justin Hazel. Want to big up my boy Carbo as well. How are you doing, brother Carbo? The man Alvin Brown, the man Elvan Ellie. Everything good with you? Louisa Libert, how are you doing? Hope all is well. Lydia Paris, the man Desmond Claxton, Tony Slater, Mervyn Nigel Leader, how are you doing, Doc? Everything good with you? I need a wicket keeper, you know. Norris Dawkins, Dorothy Allen, how you doing, my mascot there? Evan Jeffers, hope all is well. Casey King, Sergeant, how are you doing? Nice city. Queely, how are you doing? Everything good with you? Everson Powell, Centric Daniel, how are you doing? Hope all is well. Rhonda Brown, how are you doing? Deacon Harold Jeffers, how are you doing? Byron Godwin Williams. Haley Phipps, how are you doing? Good evening. How are the guys doing? I hope Nathan is getting through with his hairdo. Sister Ashley and my boy there, Matthew, celebrating a birthday tomorrow in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. Happy 14th birthday, Matthew, when it comes. Jesse Barnes, Sandra Huggins, how is my girl? Millie, my girl there, Evan and crew, the man Jerry. Carty, Jerry Hutchinson, how are you doing? Want to pick up the man Jeff White Jr. one more time. I hope you're awake. You know, we got Domino in a few minutes. Eustace Hutchinson, hope all is well. Eustace Benny, I want to big up the man Twinkie. You know, there's a lot to talk about this evening here that is happening in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Now that the music festival is behind us, I hope that folks are ready and understand that this country of ours, if we don't put our efforts in it to keep things going and to make sure that there's a land for us to come back to, it's going to come a day when you're going to come at the airport, have to ask permission to come to your own homeland, you know. That is happening. And, you know, last week I dropped a little clip here from our little session there over at Carbo's in Nevis. But I didn't get around to dropping a conversation that Brother Manners and Sister Daniel Hodge had. She was speaking a bit about the situation there at the Carbo's Eatery, Carbo's Bar, when we were there, when DJ Mauritius Sports Club was there, on the 18th of June. So I am going to drop the clip here with Sister Daniel and Brother Manners having a chat. Stand by.
Too often in our society, we hear that everything is done for women folk. Well, yesterday, the Nevis Reformation Party paid homage to our men. Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge will tell us about that. She'll also tell us about what has happened since the last convention on May 21st. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Good evening, Madam Leader.
Good evening, Mr. Manners, and it's a pleasure to be here again. I guess after the Father's Day event, I feel a bit more green, so I'm in my very bright green shirt. But indeed, let me take a moment to say greetings and good evening to all who are listening at home and in the diaspora. Of course, to my family, friends, and the big NRP family is getting much larger as we speak. And the event this past Sunday, Father's Day, was indeed an indication of the vibes that we are feeling that is getting stronger, the large number of persons who were present. And I was feeling exceptionally in good spirits because, you know, it's Father's Day. And whenever I think of my father, of course, it's, you know, it's a good feeling. And I was waiting for my son, who is also a father, to post his Father's Day photo, but I guess he's someone who was usually on Facebook quite often, but I think he's going out of the Facebook phase somewhat. And so let me take this opportunity to say Happy Father's Day to all who did not hear me yesterday, and I hope that everyone had a pleasant Father's Day. And of course, our event was over in Fountain, right next to Carbo's shop. And in fact, Carbo's shop was the central point. We had a large contingent. DJ Mauritius Sports Club would have attended. It was no accident that we were at Carbo's shop. Of course, the good goat water that Cabo is so well known for, I think was a major draw for those folks visiting. And indeed, based on the feedback, they all had a wonderful time and would really want to know if we can make this an annual event. Yeah. But, we have 5 constituencies, so we see how it pans out for next year. But indeed, I do think the fathers who were there had a wonderful time. The music was great. DJ Woodis was the DJ on stage, and then we had the Regal Band. And each time I hear them, they sound better and better and better. And I must say that that was one of the highlights of the afternoon. Not to mention all of the various dishes that were made available. And I do think the fathers had a great time. They were outdoors, they had their drinks, they were playing dominoes and, just socializing. And so overall, I would say that the event was a great success. I cannot end this segment without saying thank you so very much to the NRP Women's Arm. They would have been working tirelessly for this entire month of May. And I do think that they deserve a break. I don't know when, because there are lots of activities that they are planning. But I must, take this moment to say a very, very hearty thank you to the Women's Arm and all who would have assisted. The Women's Arm coordinated, organized, but then of course, the wider NRP family candidates, we all would have contributed and, made the event, the success that it was. And so when we work together, we see great things, and we are continuing to see that. And as Victor J would have said, big things, big things happening. And so I do hope that everyone did enjoy themselves as it was expressed to me. And I look forward to, other events to come.
Yeah, that is Sister Honorable Janice Daniel had speaking. And meeting at Cabo's was not any accident. During the election process, when I went across to Nevis last December to be my own self-appointed observer for the Nevis Island election, since Baby Brantley did not produce provided any regional observers, DJ Marisha appointed himself observer. And believe me, I observe a lot. And saying Nevis people is a special set of people, because in any other territory, all of the hanky-panky that took place during elections, that place would have been burnt down. That place would have been in a mess. The cheating that went on, the influx of foreigners who not qualified to vote, who was able to vote in the election, and still they're winning by 20 votes and less than 20 votes and this kind of stuff. But don't worry, we're gonna get to you. We're gonna deal with your Baby Brantley. The music festival is over, the dressing time is over. Now it's time to do business. It's time to get back to work. And I'm still laser focused on that hospital wing that don't have any end date in sight in finish. That started in 2017. I'm hearing now it started way back as 2014. But I'm focusing on 2017, the actual groundbreaking I'm focusing on. I was told it's 2017 with a completion date of 2019, 24 months to be exact. And we are now 6 years into the project, and we do not know where the end is. As a matter of fact, the latest information I am getting while I'm here on the ground is now why the hospital is on pause is because there was a new set of plans, blueprint that was done in the US. Now, anything that is done in the US have to be done according to the OSHA standard. As a result of that, you're gonna have to put in sprinklers and standpipes and air conditioning and name it, the works. So I don't see where that hospital is gonna complete in 2023. And I don't see where the 12 million that they allocated in the last budget will finish the job either. So Baby Brantley, we need to talk. I've been here for 2 weeks and I have not had the opportunity to see you on the street. And I assure you, before I leave here, I'm going to visit Nevis. This is nothing personal. This is about our nation and about doing the right thing. So I'm going to make it my business look for your Baby Brantley. because I need to get some straight answers about what's going on at that hospital wing. If there's anything I can do to speed up the process or to put you in the right direction. Some people are saying break down the building. You don't need to break down a structure like that you already put so many thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars into, right? Because it got to be in the hundreds of thousands with all of the breaking down and building up that's going on. I would recommend that if it does not fit the criteria that it was built for, find a next piece of land and let's start from scratch. Let's build a proper hospital. Because a hospital wing appears to me as though it's going to cost more than the cost of the hospital that is proposed to build in St. Kitts. A wing should not cost more than the whole fowl. If you got to buy a fowl, right? You got a fowl cock. You got a fowl cock. If you're going to buy the whole fowl cock for $20, how you end up buying just a wing and you went back and buy another wing? The first wing you buy for 19 million. You're going back to buy another wing for another 12 million. And before you know it, you have to buy the leg and the breast. And even the foot, we used to try with the foot them these days, the foot them cost more than the leg and the wing, you know, baby one thing. So by the time you finish doing all of these alteration and rebuilding and reconstructing, it's going to cost you way more than that entire hospital is valued. So my advice to you, baby Brantley, let's have the conversation. Nothing personal. You need to retire. You need to go sit down. You know where my position is on that. So put that aside. I am willing to have the conversation and give you some input and where you can go to recoup that place and try and make it usable. I am on the ground. You don't have to send my ticket to fly me in. I am here. Let's have that conversation. And you know, while we're going to have that conversation, I think I also need to run the recap of Sister Janice Daniel Hodge's conversation with Mr. Manners on the 19th of June. Take a quick listen.
Politicians are staying on their bully pulpits and dictating what should happen. But I'm not sure they're very, very connected with their societies.
Well, I think that's a fair assessment, and when we look at the human side of it and what is required, we understand that, you know, as leaders and as servants, you're there to help the people, and you must engage with them. Now, as we said, it is not a simple, straightforward approach. It must be, you know, a composite of ideas and to really try to make a difference. And it's not something that is going to happen overnight. And when you look at some of the countries that have low crime rate, murder rates, etc., you see certain programs in place. And so you must assess, do we have those programs here? There's no sense talking amongst ourselves. And so when you look at, for example, the same way when you go to school, you look at the teacher-to-student ratio as an indication of how effective you think that school is going to be, or, you know, that teacher. The same way when you look at some of these countries with low murder rates, and you look at the police-to-population ratio, I'm certain there must be some sort of formula where you can say, well, okay, this should provide sufficient coverage, because of course, if people can continue to commit murder and the chance of them being, you know, detected is slim, then of course, you know, you're likely to continue to have a high incidence. But if you now recognize that, hey, you know, chances are I will be caught because we now have more police patrol, and so that will help to cut down. So those sorts of things that you really must put as part of the equation. And, you know, I mean, I listened to one person talking about people should resign, and then what?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so these things, to me, I really do not see myself being a part of just talking for
Talking sake.
just for somebody to say, well, oh, I didn't hear you say. I mean, I've expressed my comments, I've expressed my concerns, but until, like you say, we can really sit down and engage and have something, substantive to contribute to the discussion. I mean, I'm not very good at repeating what somebody else says, because if it sounds good, if it doesn't sound good, I mean, I have to be convinced that, yes, this is really going to help to address the situation. And so when we look at, how task force are being put together, you really have to look at what is required. And I don't think the Prime Minister on his own or the Premier on his own can sit down and tell you, who you would need to have around the table. I think you need to have experts in these areas who can tell you, or who can advise you as to what skill sets you would need, and then you can begin to, as you say, peel the onion. And so I really don't see it as a situation where you can blame any one person and say, oh, you should have done this. I mean, I really do feel that the Premier of Nevis, he really should be the last person to weigh in on this situation, because he was the part and parcel of the peace program. I can remember him complaining about how much the peace program was how much was being paid out in St. Kitts and how much wasn't being paid in Nevis.
Only 71 people in Nevis.
That was coming up to time for elections, and so of course
fair share.
Yeah. Asked him last week how many people, has no idea, because it's really not his interest, and that is not his priorities, not his focus. And so, it really is not going to be an easy situation to address, but you must start somewhere. And like I said, when we look at the budget and the allocations for certain things, let's have some justification for the allocation, as the caller from Montreal said, for our human resources, our people. I mean, you don't know, the people that are being killed, you don't know what they're taking with them in terms of how they may have been able to contribute, positively, had they been given the opportunity and the chance to. So really we need to have the conversations, but not just a conversation to say we're having a conversation.
Well, the leader of the opposition started out the discussion, and of course all the other political leaders followed. And one of the things that he said, that it should not be made a political football. But within 24 hours, for instance, his opposition colleagues, former Prime Minister Timothy Harris, was bold to say that there have been 23 murders since last August 5th. And at that point, it was 16 since January. And then the Honorable Sean Richards, he came and on 3 occasions said that the Prime Minister should resign. It was ridiculous. It was a non-speech, basically. And if that is the only option that you're going to bring, these guys were only being talking heads. And as you said, we have to do much more than that. The opposition couldn't even come together singing from the same hymn sheet. They're a divided bunch. You probably didn't get to it, but let me ask you again. The Premier picked up his phone and called you on the issue of crime because he said we need all hands on deck. Has the Prime Minister picked up his phone and called you and asked for your ideas?
I would say, with regards to the Premier, I can recall during the period of COVID, he would have reached out to the NRP. We would have met with him and discussed some of the approaches that we thought would have been better to deal with the COVID issue. He didn't like the position that NRP took, and so he took to the waves and said that he extended an olive branch, and or he reached out and NRP did not want to. I said, we did meet and we did discuss. And when we say it is very difficult for someone like myself and NRP to sit down and discuss with the Premier and CCM, because we are miles apart in our ideology and how we think and how we look at people. And, myself and NRP, we see people as people that we're supposed to be helping and trying to understand their challenges. He sees himself as the leader in charge and do as I say. And so I did. So the short answer is no, he has not called me. The day when I think it was OJ who got shot, I was actually at the Prime Minister's office having a conversation with him. And, you know, we did express the need to have some more discussions on some matters of mutual interest. Of course, the safety of our country is a matter of mutual interest. And so while I've been having discussions with you know, certain relevant persons, it's from our perspective, it is not a matter that, oh, here I am, I had a conversation with the Prime Minister today. And so when there is something substantive to indicate, then of course that would be done. But I have, you know, spoken with the Prime Minister. It was the same day of the shooting, and so the conversation was not as lengthy as we would have liked it to be. But suffice it to say that we have been communicating on certain matters.
Now, it's 6 months and counting. Now, I've said on many occasions, I'll say again, our Constitution has its limitations. But it's still difficult to understand how a democracy and opposition is equally important as government. And so 6 months has elapsed since the Nevis Island election, and the NIA is not properly constituted. Has there been any recent discussion about resolving that matter and making sure that we have government opposition in place in a proper way to move the country forward? There is no question that there's a lapse of government in Nevis. The federal parliament meets tomorrow. They seem to be meeting almost every week. They've got a very busy legislative agenda. The Nevis Island Assembly has met twice. Twice. Have these guys got nothing to discuss for the benefit of the people? And the two sessions were, of course, when the members were sworn in.
Opening and budget.
And then the budget. The Nevis Island Assembly, as operating, is not what your father envisaged.
Well, I don't think it's anybody who has any sense of appreciation for what the NIA stands for would want to see. And, you know, where we are today, it's really, unfortunately, based on the Premier. And I question how from 2017 there was no leader of the opposition based on the Constitution, what the Constitution requires. There was no leader of the opposition. And so the question must be asked with regards to the Integrity in Public Life Ordinance, which came into force in 2018. Certainly there was no leader of the opposition, but you can see where the Premier would have seen it in his best interest to act as if there was a leader of the opposition and allowed for the appointment of one of the commissioners by, as the ordinance states, should be the opposition leader. But there was no opposition leader. But of course he wanted to blow his whistles and said, oh, here I am, integrity in public life. And so he had two options really. You know, if he just did the ordinance without the need for the opposition leader. But then he wouldn't be able to say, for the first time in history, I provided, support to the office of the opposition. So my question basically is that, how did he have the authority single-handedly? And I'm now speaking to, our system here, to decide when he wants someone to act as if they're opposition leader, which is essentially what he would have done with Mr. Parry and Cleon Stapleton Simmons, providing support for the office of the opposition. And now unilaterally decides that, oh, I'm withdrawing the support. And so the question must be asked, is this really the type of democracy that we want to advance? And whatever amount it was, it is the principle that with an opposition office, I mean, you have gone to law firms where you have seen attorney A in one suite, attorney B in another suite. So what was so difficult in saying this is the office of the opposition and NRP is here and whoever else is there? I mean, I'm not certain what his constructing think it is as leader of the opposition there, but I find it hard to imagine that all three of them would sit, all three parties would sit in the same opposition.
Can they sit if they're not even apparently not talking?
Yeah, so I mean, this matter really has to be taken to a higher level, and it has been. I have, discussed it at a higher level, and we really cannot sit back and allow the Premier to dictate, basically, when there's an opposition office in Nevis and when there's not. Because had he not taken that position before and said in the spirit of good governance that he would provide support for an opposition office, then you could say the Constitution does not allow it. But now you have two elected members, happen to be women, and his position now is not, I am not providing support to any of you.
Now you say, I'm happy to see that Sister Honorable Janice Daniel Hodge, she's paying attention. Because I have been preaching over the last couple of weeks, when Baby Brantley sight fit that he has the authority to just take away the funding for the opposition office for the NIA, because there's no majority on the opposition side. There is no support for leader. I keep bringing it to you guys' attention. I hope your online viewers are paying attention. As a union, we're for 20 plus years, for 1199 SEIU union. There were many things that were not in our contract, but management had a practice of doing favors for the people that will bring news back to them. So they were paying these people in benefits of easy job, easy money for not working while they bring news back to them. Because our Black people, we have a problem, We're too mete. We love to carry news on each other. And I pride myself on not doing that. I am here for the good that I can do. If I cannot do good by my people, and I'm not doing it. But that is our problem. So what I used to use on many occasions, and eventually those articles end up in our constitution once they go back to the contract, our contractual agreement every couple of years, we bargain on those things and they end up in the contract. Past practice. If you're accustomed of doing something, this is taxpayers' money, but apparently, Baby Brantley, Markup Fellow, whatever you want to call yourself. These are taxpayers' money. During the budget address, you put in the budget for 2023 funding for the opposition office. You cannot just then go around and decide you're not going to pay it out. You're not going to accommodate the opposition. You're out of place, damn forward. You understand? And for someone that prides himself or yourself as the best speaker and the most educated, you know, you have done something there that I do not know how Nevis people allow you to continue this bullshit for so long, you know. Because they should have break down your office door and call you out till you get out of office, all the bullshit you've been doing for the last couple of months, you know. From January to now, you should have been pulled out of your office. You should not be allowed to be dressing up and jumping and both coming on to think it's going to music festival and go back home smiling. Some shit should be thrown in your face. Some egg should be thrown in your face. Something should have been done to show people are disgusted with what you're treating people with. Because that's what you're doing to people, you know. You're spitting in the face of the citizens of this nation. You're treating Nevis people like they don't have no sense. Only you got all the sense. How dare you gonna come and decide that you will not provide any support to the opposition office any longer? But you did it in the past. You're going by constitution as past practice. You have been doing it for the past several years. You don't have the moral authority to just come and take it away. You know, we have an AG that I think is very knowledgeable of the law. And he have made some statements, you know, and I keep saying to the folks in Nevis, I know Sister Janice Daniel had told me that things are in the makings and in the planning, and this ombudsman supposed to be doing whatever. I want to see things start happening. People are tired. I am tired. We don't hear about all of the matters. We hear about the fake marriages. How much hundreds or thousands of fake marriages. Those fake marriages has consequences because those fake marriages played a role in the last election, both the general election and the local Nevis Island elections. We need to get the matters of those fake marriages resolved, bring the report, and let's see whether it's 24 or 13 or 27 illegal voters was in Nevis. We need to get that fake marriage matter resolved. The Prime Minister spoke about it, but speaking about it is not enough. We want to know what is taking so long to resolve these matters. If you all need help to count the book, then I can count for free, you know. If you all need help to count, I can count for free because these things shouldn't be taking so long. We heard about the millions that is missing from the development bank. The government is in office now for 10 months. Somebody should have been charged already. It can't be so hard to charge somebody. You don't have to charge them all at one time. Start somewhere. My grandfather taught me. And Tinny Morris taught me as well. And Clemmy Bainey taught me as well. Once you make a start, you will finish. You got to start someplace. If you want to build a house, you don't have enough money to build a complete house. Buy a couple blocks and put down every week. Put them there. Buy a couple bags of cement and you start putting your footing down. And you got to do. And eventually you're going to get a little 1 room, a little 2 room. But in the case of the farm administration, in a 1 room and 2 room, you know, you're going to get at least 6 of them over at 1840 Upso in Estridge. Because all of them was involved there. The campaign was getting rid of them. The mantra was getting rid of all of them. And I want to know, the leftovers in Nevis, the CCM, led by Baby Brantley, they are the one that created the havoc on the Federation right now, you know. If it wasn't for them 3 leftovers there in Nevis, everything would have been smooth. And I want you all to hear me clear, you know, because if you all are hearing me clear, just send me a message, I can repeat myself, you know. If you are not hearing me clear enough, just send me a message. I will repeat myself. Because if this thing wasn't so serious, it would be laughable. If this thing wasn't so serious, it would be laughable. You just imagine the thief and election in 2020. That's what my boy General Powell saying now. He said no more thieving. He done with the thieving of election. No more. So I can say it. The thief and election in 2020. They used COVID as the cover to steal that election. And when DJ Marisha was telling you all what's going on inside here with the COVID and thing, they say fake news, ignore the noise, best prime minister ever. A lot of them out there with their hands up right now and looking for work and bigging up Prime Minister Joe. They were cussing Prime Minister Joe and cussing me. Many of them tell me the person I am supporting is worse than Timothy Harris. I tell him that's okay. I'm going to give him a do. Anybody but Tim. My position was anybody but Tim. That the farmer had to sit down and arrest himself. Right? That was my position. And the situation here is, all I wanted to see was the three leaders and the opposition bench. I wanted to see how things will happen. I wanted to see how they're going to feel over there. But baby Brantley is such a slimy snake. He tried to worm his way into the government. So he's the shadow prime minister right now. He's shadowing Prime Minister Joe. Every place you see Dr. Joe, Prime Minister Joe, is baby Brantley. There's no opposition. The opposition is fighting the opposition in parliament. I wasn't expecting that. I expected the opposition to do better than they're doing. So guess what? Now we have the People's Labour Party led by the farmer Hag. He over there complaining about things that he created. He was the prime minister for the last 7 years prior to Labour, prior to Prime Minister Joe. And all of a sudden they got all these ideas. Now they're in the opposition that they didn't have when they was in there and they wasn't listening to nobody. My boy there, Sean Richards, sometimes I don't know whether he's sleeping, he wake up or he drunk. Because he was saying everything was good. I still got my WhatsApp message them, you know. I still have my WhatsApp message them. I used to message Sean, I used to message Mark. I used to message the farmer Hag. Trying to find out what's going on. And everything was good. Everything was good with all of them. With the concern, the country was running good. They're using some peace, this and peace, that. Peace my backside. What kind of peace? The country ain't had no peace because the money that they were supposed to be paying to the peace never make it to the right sources. We know that now. And as I've said before, if it wasn't for the change of government in St. Kitts, we would have never known the problem that we had. And it's worse in Nevis. My good people, it's worse in Nevis. The corruption is stink to high hell in Nevis. I am sure about that. There are certain things I will not say on this program unless I'm forced to. And when I say it, let them take me up. Well, they say they don't do it under the plaque anymore. They say they're up by the memorial, the war memorial. So I guess baby Brantley will take me up by the war memorial now. Let's fight war up there. But something must be done. Something have to be done about the corruption and Nevis. And this is where we have to start. The issue with the taxpayers' money, federal funds that went into the hospital wing must be investigated. The AG and the ombudsman, they must get into it. You cannot continue to pump money into baby Brantley and you cannot explain to the people where the money went. Mr. Prime Minister, you cannot continue to give support to the NIA with federal funding from the federal government, and he does not explain where the money gone. We need to get a clear understanding of how the money is spent over there. This good governance agenda, you know, before I leave here, once the team leave on Saturday, Once the Jamaica Sports Club team leave on Saturday, I am going to be in the Ombudsman office first thing Monday, because I need to know where to start to get these requests, the information that I need. So let's take a listen to my good AG here, because he's talking the right things. But I don't want to just hear the talk. I want to see the action behind it. Somebody needs to be held accountable. Several people need to be held accountable. I took a walk up over by the prison project there last week, you know, and a whole bunch of them are jump and a grumble and a carry on with all kind of thing. And what going on up there is no good for St. Kitts Nevis. What's going on up there need to be revisited. And I'm requesting in the first instance that the government, the Labor Department, and whoever else, whichever agency need to look into what's happening over at the prison project. I am requesting in the first instance. And if my request not going to be done, not going to be received and investigated, then I'm going to demand. I'm going to demand that that job gets shut down until proper investigation is done, you know. I don't want to hear about no contract this and no contract that. If there was people in the farm administration that give these foreigners such an ironclad contract that we cannot put a hold on the job to investigate what went on, we need to charge them people for, you know. As a matter of fact, we need to charge them people as well, because our tax dollars, there are people in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis that is in dire need of help, that is in dire need of cash. And you can't just take the money and throw it out there. People do as they please. I'm hearing the cries, my people. I have many voice clips, voice mails here that people sent to me since I've been here. I don't just be loose and just throw everything on social media just for doing its sake. I'm not looking for no likes and no love and no popularity. That is not what I'm doing. I want to see the country progress. And the Labor administration, they're on a good footing and they're putting things in place. And I want to see them successful. I want to do my part to make them successful. Because guess what? If we had the problem we had with the tri-party there, just less than a year ago, they were there for 7 years. And if they mash up the country so bad in 7 years, the People's Labour Party led by Timothy Harris, the farmer had, the Concerned Citizen Movement, CCM, led by Baby Brantley, and the People's Action Movements led by Sean Richards. If them three people there, all of them supposed to be brains, university graduate, and if all of them together mash up the country so bad, and you're going to tell me in less than a year, we want to mash up the Labor administration out of what? Spite? Bad mind? I mean, look at all the good things that has been done thus far. Anybody who has been paying attention, you know, with all the cry and cry and cry about the economy. This weekend gone, look at the girls in the danda and the hairdo, the eyelash, the dress, the pum-pum shorts, the short thing, the sharp up. Go and look at the pictures when Burna Boy took the stage, music festival night. You had more than the population of St. Kitts in Warner Park. The population of St. Kitts was some 50,000+ or 50,000. It seems like you had more than that in Warner Park Saturday night. I see the people on the street enjoying themselves. So all of them who used to cry, boy, things tight, we are just selfish. Many of you got money in your pocket, but you prefer to ask for money than to use your own money. There's too many bad-minded people in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Yes, I'm saying it. Families fighting families over what? Somebody dead in the family, you fight them for the dress, you fight them for a pair of shoes. What are you going to do? You can't fit you. You fight over a house, you can't take the house with you. You fight over a car, you can't take the car with you. Too much bad-minded people around. Make good of what you have. Do your part for country. Country above self. That's our motto we have to look into. You understand? So it's unfortunate, you know, that tonight I really can't get into what I want to get into. But I'll be back next week. And my good friend supposed to join me next week, you know. My good friend Ira McMahon. And one thing about Ira don't stammer when I ask him a question like Sam Kanda, you know. Sam want to be politically correct. I don't care to be politically correct, you know. All I want to hear is the facts. Did the dog piss on the car tire? Yes or no? Yes, the dog piss on the car tire. Simple. They're going to tell me that where the water run and where the rain fall. I ask you a simple question. Did the dog piss on the car tire? That's what it is. And like I said some weeks ago, and I will continue to say it, those people, Sam Kanda and Dwyer and Douglas Watley and them, you know, I want to thank them for doing what they did to bring about the PLP party. Because if there was not a PLP party, and this is not just DJ Marisha saying it, Sam Kanda said it. He was part of the process. As a matter of fact, from what I understand, Sam Kanda and Timothy Harris is partners in the PLP. He have shares in there. I do not know why he don't go and get his share. Because they say money back. Money back, Sam, so you need to go and get your share, right? But I want to put it this way. The people of St. Kitts Nevis, they are people that really in need, and I feel for them. And I would like to do what I can to help those people. But there are some people that really needy like they want to need. They're just ravenous. They're just gutless. They're just bad-minded. Because I see a lot of them head coming up again in this new administration. Advisor this, advisor that, this. They don't need it. Give somebody an opportunity. Some of them don't retire long term, getting pension and social, and they come back and they're still taking up space. You understand? They're taking up space for young people out there. I had a conversation with a taxi driver last week, and I was somewhat disappointed in the conversation I had with the taxi driver, because he's of the view that this idea that the Prime Minister says that he's going to do 2 terms if given the opportunity, and he's going to step away and let somebody else take over. He's saying that's not a good idea. How are we going to find someone to be Prime Minister every 10 years? I wonder if this gentleman realized how many of our students graduate from high school and university annually out there with nothing to do. Where they can't be politician too. They can't be Prime Minister too. You don't have to be from a certain class of family to become a Prime Minister or to become a leader. I mean, you could look at that, DJ Marisha, for example, you know, I tell people all the time, my past is my past, and I will not run from it or hide from it. When I left St. Kitts in 1980 and head to the British Virgin Islands at the request of my mother, I didn't leave voluntarily, you know. She dragged me out of St. Kitts. When she dragged me out of St. Kitts, they said I was going down the wrong road. My grandmother told her the company I was keeping was not good enough. Because you know where I used to be? Anybody from St. Paul's or who don't know St. Paul's, just ask who is Mr. Brown, Charphilus Brown. Had a baker shop down there. Me and Charphilus was the best of friends. That's why I used to lie with Bochum and the boys down the gut. That is not what my grandparents wanted for me. So they pulled me out of St. Kitts, right? And at that tender age of 15, I was already so advanced in what I wanted to do. But today I can say to you, what I wanted to do then have nothing to do with what I'm doing today. I had no clue of becoming an electrician before I left St. Kitts. All of that started in the Virgin Islands. I have no interest or no clue of becoming a disc jockey. All of that happened in the Virgin Islands. And from there, moved to North America, went to school, got certified, and the train started from there. I'm not running from my past. We have very talented people here in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, if they get a chance. This program, some might try to say, oh, he used the program every week to cuss Simmons. He threw Simmons out of government. He cussed Douglas. Richard Douglas out of government. But people who are paying attention, that have common sense and are reasonable, will know that this program came about in 2020 during the pandemic. I asked to come to St. Paul's and spend my quarantine time in my dwelling place. Nobody was here. I wouldn't bother nobody. I spoke to the farmer hog. I tell him, listen, my place is locked down in St. Paul's. I already locked down for 4 months in New York. So 14 days is easy for me to do. The farmer hog gave me Abdiel Samuel's number. Tell me, speak to Abdiel Samuels. When I call Abdiel Samuels, he give me some story about cabinet. Why do you care about cabinet? Cabinet have been a whole bunch of woodlice. There's a lot of woodlice was in there. Look at them. Wendy Phipps, Timothy Harris, Sean Richards, Lindsey Grant, Powell, Juicy. Look at them. There's a bunch of woodlice was in there, eating up the cabinet. Nothing for the people. They use the pandemic to control people. That's all they did. Not to help people. All the money they get, they use it to control people. Talking about they're putting out there, they're proving money to help people. No money went to the people. No money went to the people. When I questioned them on this program, they said they're volunteering. They're getting costs and they're volunteering. But yet, they went and they approved over $300,000 in secret. Some get 27,000, some get 15,000, whatever. They should be arrested. I got the tapes, I got my receipts. They said it was done in secret. After they said they're working for free, they take the taxpayers' money. Well, poor people out there, up until today, never get a dime to assist them. You know? So people, honesty is something. They say it's the best policy, but not in St. Kitts Nevis. I'm going to be true to myself, I'm going to be true to the people, and I'm going to be true to God. When I come here and I speak any evening, when I speak, I'm giving you facts. That's what I'm bringing to you. And if you can prove me wrong, I'll be the big man and apologize. Because I know the things I'm saying, when I don't say them, none of you can prove me wrong. Right? So for them who are saying that I use this program to bring down Kennedy Simmons and Dr. Douglas, this program started in 2020. I did 13 nights, 14 days, as they have said. 14 days he locked down my ass in the Royal St. Christopher Nevis. And on my 13th episode, when I said to the people, thanks for supporting me on the journey. Thanks for following me on the journey. But tonight is my last broadcast. The people said no. DJ Maurice, you got to reconsider that. We do not want you to end this program. We want you to continue your program. That is what they said to me. So based on the people's request, I tell them straight up, I am in St. Kitts. I don't have the internet in my house. I don't work. I am a fixed budget. You know what the people say? The people say, well, Marisha, you don't have any internet in your house. We're going to put it in. And they sent the money, and that is how I get internet. So I am coming to you live and direct from my bunker in St. Paul's. Because people said money to put in the internet. But the other bills I still have to pay. I still have to pay electricity. I still have to pay engineers. I still have to pay technicians to keep this program going. And some of them out there who are running them out, they don't even make a contribution. Not a contribution, but they're benefiting from this program. A lot of them today that get work because labor is in office. It's through this medium. I tap the things them, make sure people know what's going on, and they're benefiting now. And instead, some of them just stay quiet and thank the DJ for his hard work. They want to cuss this DJ, some of them. But when are you coming now? When are you come good? Before you all come, find out who DJ Marisha grandmother is, Clemmy Benny. Ask who is Clemmy Benny. Ask who is Joe Benny. Ask who is Tini Maris. Because I mean, I play with her, you know. Even Dad Maris used to deal with her, you know. Old people I grew up with, so they give me the facts. I don't got time to play. My boy Carbo, I just met Carbo last December. And it's like me and Carbo know each other for 100 years. Because I real. People could see the realness. You got some cock up fellow out there, cock up themselves all in a backyard and in a car. I want to come decide they want to mess with the DJ. No. DJ no play them thing there. Right? So I'm gonna drop this clip by the AG. Because I want to refresh you all memory. That you have a right. You all elected these politicians to do a service, and when they don't do it, you remove them. You say next. That is what needs to be taking place in Nevis. Baby Brantley, time is up. And I will remind him that on a weekly basis, your time is up. And the people of Nevis, I will remind you all to get up, stand up, and stand up for your right. Because if you don't do that, nobody's going to do it for you. So take a listen to the AG.
Essentially an agreement between NHC and East Coast. Government has a very limited role in the agreement. However, the agreement was prepared and vetted by the Attorney General's office. There is strong protection in the agreement in terms of quality of homes, in terms of delivery of homes, in terms of the use of local contractors. All of that is contained in the contract. I feel certain that we have sufficient protections that will protect NHC, will protect the government, and will protect the homeowner built into the agreement. With any contract, there is always potential doubt as to whether the contractor can perform. Just because a contractor has built 10,000 homes or 5 homes in St. Kitts and they're building your home does not necessarily mean that they're going to build it in the proper way. That is why you are supposed to have a construction contract. And in that construction contract, you're supposed to have a project manager. And the project manager at the various phases of the building of that home is supposed to report to the homeowner whether the construction is being built according to the plans that are agreed by the what's your board called? The Development Control and Planning Board. All of those provisions are in place, and they're even strengthened more because it's a 2,400 home project. But I can assure the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that we thoroughly vetted the contract and ensured that there's sufficient protection for homeowners, NHC, and the government. Oh, yes. And there's even greater protection. There will be built into the contract is that 2 model homes will be built. If the government and or NHC are not satisfied with the model homes, and by extension, the contractors that will be part of the construction of these model homes because of the new technology, and the potential homeowners, all the stakeholders, if they're not satisfied with the model homes, the contract comes to an end. And that is it.
When you see Mr. AG, this is the issue I have here with the current situation with your statement. A couple of years back, during the pandemic, when the former administration with Janelle Powell as the person in charge of sports, they brought in the CPL at Warner Park when people were hungry, need help. They spent out millions of dollars to the CPL teams to have cricket instead of putting food in people's stomach and paying people's bill. And we questioned the contract, we wanted to see what's in the contract. And Janelle told us that because of whatever restrictions, he's not allowed to tell the citizenry of St. Kitts Nevis, how much of their tax dollar they give to foreigners. Now that is bull. That is unacceptable. Anytime you're going to use taxpayers' dollar to pay anybody out there for anything, the citizen must know how much it costs in them is their money. It is not your private dollar. You said something in this clip, Mr. AG. That's why I played it. You spoke about the levels of where you get paid. You start a home, you have a contract with somebody. You give them a mobilization fee. How much ever percentage of the money, they get the mobilization fee. They start the job, they come up to the foundation level. Once it's satisfactory, they get another set of money. They reach up to ring beam. Once it's satisfactory, they get another set of money. They put on the roof. Once it's satisfactory, they get another set of money. And there's something called a retention fee. The retention is you hold back X amount of the money that if the job within a couple of months is not satisfactory, whether there's a leak, when there's rain or whatever, they have to fix it before they get the retention money. There's a process. So for the life of me, with all of your sensible people out there, with Baby Brantley as a lawyer, professed to be the biggest lawyer and have the most knowledge, how the hell, how the ass, all this money spent on the hospital wing in Nevis, all of the money spent and nothing was done properly. Who was managing that job? How was the contract written? The taxpayers want to know. The people want to know. What was in that contract? How was the job presented? Was it awarded because other people went out there and bid on the job, or you just give it to a friend who do not know anything to do about construction? We want to know. I want to know. Not because DJ Marisha want to know, The people of Nevis want to know. And the questions they're asking is sensible questions. And since some people afraid to open them out, I'm going to bang mine. Mine clean. I got a very loud voice. My tongue and teeth get along very well. So the people of Nevis want to know, by extension, I'm asking you. So Mr. Ombudsman, Mr. AG, the time to work is now. Talk done. We want to see some action. We want to know what's going on with the federal funding that was sent across to Nevis. We want to know about the hospital wing. So take another listen of the AG talking the things.
I also want to take this opportunity, if I can, Prime Minister. I hear a lot of chat about procurement. And I think it's important for the people of this country to understand what procurement is. In 2012, there was a Procurement Act passed. Procurement covers three things: goods purchased with treasury money. And when I say treasury money, I mean that's the people's money. Services that are purchased with the people's money. And construction, which is paid for by the people's money. This agreement with East Coast has none of those three elements. It is not a matter of procurement. It is a matter between NHC, which is a statutory corporation, and East Coast, and individual homeowners. There is no government money, no treasury money that is being paid out for there to be procurement issues. And I find it strange that persons who were in government in the past and should have a great understanding, because I can tell you, the people at this table, we probably hear Procurement Act more than anything else in our offices. I'll give you an example. The office wanted, and my PS is here so she could confirm, the fridge when I got into the office, the mini fridge, was not working. So the office had to procure a mini fridge. In order to procure the mini fridge, the office had to seek to get a quote from TDC, a quote from Hosford, a quote from somewhere else, review the quotes, and then choose an option. And the whole point of that process is to ensure that treasury money, the people's money, is being spent in the best way. That is how procurement works. So when, for example, the government wishes to build a training school for the police, the government then, the structure under the Procurement Act, sends out tenders and saying, these are the plans for the police training school. We want we're sending out a tender for contractors to submit how much it will cost for them to construct this building. When government money is being spent, that's how the process works. So then the tenders come in and the procurement board meets and they determine which contractor they're choosing to go with to build this building. That is how procurement works. This structure is not that type of structure. It is not taxpayers' money that is going. It is individuals who are buying these homes. NHC, who is not subject to the Procurement Act, who is facilitating these homes being built.
All right, so we're going to stop there for tonight with the AG and whether NAC is liable in that particular law. But one thing we know for sure is that federal monies, you have to follow a certain criteria. Federal monies was spent on that hospital wing. Things is way out of hand. And guess what? We want answers. Mr. AG, we want answers. Mr. Ombudsman, we want answers. Sister Janice Daniel, I know you assured me that you are in the process of doing what you need to do. And you know something I want to say to you, online viewership? Throughout the last few weeks or months that the Labour administration been there, and some of you had been on your high horse about how cozy the Prime Minister and Baby Brantley is and not speaking with the leader of the NRP and whatever. The leader of the NRP has made it clear privately and publicly that she has been in conversation with the Prime Minister. So I am happy to report that the leader of the NRP, aka the leader of the opposition, are Nevis. There is no independent party at Nevis that I know of. There is the CCM and the NRP run for the elections. Some other party they say run and they must be get 2 or 3 votes. There was no independent people run. So I don't want to hear about no independent right now. As a matter of fact, I want to say good night to Sister Cleon Stapleton Simmons. I actually ran into her at the music festival Saturday night. And as I said before, I do not know the lady enough to speak about her. I just seen her one time in person during the meeting there in New York for the NRP that was staged by the Division for Nevis. And her actions following that, I spoke on those issues, but I do not know the lady enough. And maybe one day we will have a conversation. I'll get to understand where she's coming from. But I know her movements, the things she has done, has damaged her political career. Who want to tell her different is up to them. But I am of the view that what she has done over the last couple of months has damaged her political career severely, because she's now no longer of the NRP, one of the main party in Nevis. CCM, even the Baby Brantley wanted, the rest of them don't want her. So I do not know how she's going to survive in those rough waters on Nevis. But I gotta run. Like I said, I have it's now 7:02. We have our tournament there at the Bodies Bar and Pool Room, Body Slam Bar and Pool Room. My folks, I'm pretty sure, might be there already looking for me because they know I'm a guy who loves to be on time. But you, the online viewers, I know you're important enough, and I don't want to really cut you short. And last week, I didn't have the opportunity to play this clip. And I promised I would assist in the Answer Reunion promotion that is coming up from the 14th to the 16th of April. Of July, the 14th to the 16th of July in Anguilla. So I want to drop this clip, compliments of Mr. Carlson for that Answer Reunion. Take a listen.
Hello? Hello? Lam, I know you just waking up, but I had to call you. Them say ANSA 2023 gonna be in Anguilla from July 14th to 16th. Yes, ANSA is when Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis people join together from North America, Europe, and the Caribbean to exchange ideas and educate and inform each other. This is the best way to meet our nationals coming back. The theme is unified by a collective effort for a common goal. And you know Apane hosting it, the Anguilla Progressive Association of New York. So you know this all about promoting social and economic development of our people using advocacy, education, and service. You got to come celebrating Anguilla this year. This is the 20th biennial Anguilla Nevis St. Kitts Association's reunion. Them expecting over 300 Caribbean people from all over the world. And businesses gonna showcase them brands, and they having a banquet dinner, a marketplace, and social events. You ain't start looking for flights yet? July 14th to 16th, you got to be here in Anguilla. That weekend gonna be full of experiences, events day and night. A welcome reception gonna be by the Anguilla Great House. They gonna have dinner and dancing at Aurora, a fashion show and awards at Blue Ridge, workshops, lectures, a church service, a cultural explosion, a tour of the island. Listen, this trip gonna be better than all your other visits combined. You can even be a sponsor or advertiser for the event and get featured on the website and the Answer 2023 magazine. Companies can showcase their products and services to a wider audience outside the traditional markets. Go to the website answer2023anguilla.com and download the form or buy your e-tickets for any events you want. Tickets cost between $15 and $400 for the entire thing. If you want to know any more, send an email to apane@apa-ny.org. Anyhow, go book your flight, then you can go back sleep. I can see you.
All right, so that's the ad for the Answer Reunion there in Anguilla and the 14th to the 16th of July. And Prime Minister Drew will be attending that affair. I understand Baby Brantley should be there as well. So I want you in the vision in Anguilla, when you see Baby Brantley, ask him what's the status of the hospital wing and Nevis. When you all see this gentleman, I don't want no handshake and no smiles. Ask him what's the status of the hospital wing. You want to know how your money is being spent. In the meantime and between time, I want to say good evening to my sister, the entire Tola, Esther Possard Hutchinson, and Brother Mokish and the kids there. I'm going to drop a track here because they continue to try and ambush us in the night. So this one for Sister Haley and the kids there. Ashley, Matthew, again, celebrating your birthday tomorrow, and the man Nathan. This one is called Ambush in the Night.
See them fighting for power. But they know not the hour. So they bribing with their gun, spare parts, and money. Trying to fill it
Yeah, man, they try to ambush us in the night, but DJ Marisha don't fall for those things. Want to say good evening to the man, brother Nigel Watley. How you doing, the man? Crazy, everything good? How about Sister Day Basso? How is about Sister Ann Basso? We're gonna drop a track here, my final track for the evening. For those of you who listen to the program weekly, you know, once I drop this unofficial anthem of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, everyone just have to arise and do the right thing, you know? This one is done by the late, great, the King Arrow. But before I just play the King Arrow, I want to say good evening to my buddy there again, the man, Dancing Commissioner, Austin Williams. And I want to say a big thank you tonight to the Police Sports Club for accommodating the Jamarisha Sports Club here in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis over the last couple of days. They have been doing a good job hosting us. I want to thank my partner there, president of the Police Sports Club, Brother Detroit Henry. He has been very hardworking with the team and making sure all is well. Brother Rodney Francis and his wife Leah Francis has been very much hard at work trying to keep the team informed. And I have nothing but respect for you guys. I also want to say a special thank you to the Commissioner of Police, Brother James Sutton, for allowing the guys the time to hang out with us and do what they need to do. Lovely beach bash last Tuesday. It was nice. Last night down at the Commissioner's residence there on the pitch, it was a pleasure for me to see a past parliamentarian, the man, Brother Glenn Goes Phillips. We played some domino together and the man know his stuff. You know, we had a good time there playing some dominoes. I also want to thank Brother Kenny Douglas. I think he is Ambassador Kenny Douglas, coming out there and hang with us as well last evening at the pitch. I also want to thank Assistant Commissioner, the man, Mr. Henry, for coming out and hanging with us there. We had a great team of support. We also had Ambassador Queely, who is visiting from Morocco. I want to thank you, my brother, for being a part of the Jamarisha Sports Club and have always supported the Jamarisha. I want to big up my uncle there, Brother Joseph Emmanuel down there at Garvey's Estate. As I always says, folks, if you're in St. Kitts, you need some place to stay, check out Uncle Joseph there at Garvey's Estate. You want to keep a party, a wedding, whether indoor or outdoor, is right there at Garvey's Estate. You want to shop, you want to get some good dandan for your kids, for yourself, you just check out Sister Laura Williams there in the TDC Mall right on 4th Street. You get some good stuff there. Or you can check my cousin Gloria Hutchinson at Smart Fit, right there on Cannon Street, right off 4th Street there. Check out Smart Fit. And the new location is there on Central Street in the old Simaco building, right next to Skelec. Just tell them DJ Marisha sent you. In the restaurant area, my boy, Brother Michael Clark over there at the Jamrock restaurant in Frigate Bay. Brother Marshall up the hill there. I got to go and check Marshall before I leave. Lovely place to eat when you're in St. Kitts. Also, don't forget the guys there at the Spratnet in Old Road. And when you go up Station Street, just check out my boy Gijo's. Tell him DJ Marisha sent you there. Love the place to cool out on any evening, play some dominoes, have some snack, have some fish, and buy a few drinks. Don't forget the backway bar there in Parsons. My boy Ras just went there this afternoon, got some lovely fried fish and some yellow bill and fried sprat. I know a lot of you came into the Federation for Music Festival. You all don't know a thing about yellow bill. You might know about sprat, but I'm sure I get yellow bill and I'm sure you know what is yellow bill. So that's some lovely food there. I want to big up my cousin there, Brother Twinkie, the man Albert Morris, Sister Weezy, Catherine, the man Sugars, aka Craig, Challenger. Happy seeing you guys. My boy Shama, want to big up my boy Ninky there. Need to talk to you soon. The man Shabby, everything bang on. The man Sassio, everything good. You know, just want to let you guys know that you check out the Giza as well down there, the ferry terminal and the man Shango. My boy Papi, right there where everything bang on, you can come there and get your pork and chicken and barbecue pork, barbecue chicken, barbecue ribs, right there, right in St. Paul's Main Street there, any Thursday and Friday evening. You check your boy Papi there. So we're gonna drop this track here. This one is called Arise. Sister Ann Farrell Smith, good evening. How are you doing? Sister Tracy Jeffers, Tracy Powell. Hope all is well with you guys. And my boy dear, Glenn Green, the Lord Kent, Debbie. Oh yeah!
Would you stand up and see your country dying and never lend a helping hand? Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Maladministration, wrecking all I know. I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite
Oh yeah!
and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
What's wrong? Gotta wake up. Come on, Christian. Sister, here's the box, then. Sister Ponte. Are you on the board right there?
Would you assist building a wall so massive or a bridge? Don't care how small. As one tends to divide our people, the other unite us all. Unambitious men just cannot be a part of this community.
Oh yeah!
Displaying selfishness, a total lack of interest. No, I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, man, the sound of the late great King Arrow. This country is yours, all yours. My people of Nevis, just take warning, you know. I want to say good evening to Sister Janet Dwell Hull. How about Sister Yvonne Mauricio? How are you guys doing? Sister Joy Clark, Mary Clark, the man Theo Clark, how are you guys doing? Bevis Hutchinson, how are you doing? Sister Virgie, the man Ingle, Sam Francis, Sarah Francis. Also, want to big up the Honorable Dr. Terence Joe. Hope all is well with you, Mr. Prime Minister. Brother Hanley there, Jeffrey Hanley, hope all is good with you as well. The man Samuel Duggins. How about Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas? Hope all is well with you. The Honorable Congress Maynard. Hope all is well with you. The entire cabinet of the Labour Party. I know there's a lot of foxes out there trying to do some fox things in the camp there. So just be careful with them. You know, they like to ride in the back of the bus, doing a lot of damage back there. You know, I had a little situation not too long ago, and I hope the Labour government is taking warning. I never knew that a rat could disable a vehicle. As big as a vehicle is, those big SUVs and all these 100,000 vehicles that you all drive out there, a simple one of New York's simple rat could disable that entire vehicle. I left here in January, went back to New York, left my vehicle parked in the backyard, and everything was good. I drove it out of the yard, went uptown, came back, parked, everything is good. Next thing I go back, try to start the vehicle. The vehicle is jumping all over the place like a top. Call up the dealer, take the car to the dealer, only to find out the rat bite up the harness that goes to the spark plugs. So that's why the vehicle was missing. So I just want the Labour Party to understand that rat baby Brantley, do not let him in your cabinet. Do not let him inside there feel like he's doing any favor to you all. That little rat could be the problem. Remember, he had a mission to bring down the Labour Party before. That haven't changed. His mission was to bring down Dr. Douglas. That haven't changed. He said Douglas was in the departure lounge of politics, but Douglas is riding again. He even riding foreign. They say he could never enter the US again. He could never put his soil on the US, his foot on the US soil. And I told them, I'm holding straight for Dr. Douglas until such time that he's able to travel to the US again. It's how life is. They say, when are you planning? When are you point out your fingers, so you know, count how much pointing back at you. When you point so, check how much coming back at you. My good people of St. Kitts Nevis, please stay focused. Understand that you don't just elect a government and leave them to run the country how they feel. You elect a government who will listen to you, the citizens, to do what you all want them to do. The country must run good. The citizens must feel the benefit. If it's only the foreigners and the politicians then benefiting, is the wrong people in government. The citizens must feel the benefit. Until such time, as I come back to join you next Thursday at 6 o'clock, coming from my bunker here in St. Kitts Nevis, I look forward to this conversation, but I have to run because the guys are waiting on me down in Newton Ground. We're going to be down at the Body Slam Bar and Pool Room right now, jamming some domino, having some bullfoot, having some pigfoot, having some wings, having some lovely food, drinks. The bar is a well-stocked bar. Come on out and hang with DJ Mauricio down at the Body Slam Bar there in good old Newton Ground, St. Kitts. Until such time, I want to big up my engineer, Ike, and thank him for all the time he has put in to keep me live and lively.